Hey guys, it's Klob here, and today I have a Super Mario 64 Online or Net64 tutorial on two tricks that are very useful in speedrunning that I'd like to show you how to use. So this isn't like a very super popular speed game or anything, but every now and then I'll see new people giving it a go, and there's two very important tricks that I think people should know if they ever want to give running this game a go. These tricks just aren't very well known outside a small group of people, and I probably should have made a video on this a while ago, but I mean, it's better late than never. So anyway, the two tricks are called D-pad cancelling and save prompt skip. Save prompt skip is an extension of D-pad cancelling, so I'm going to try to explain D-pad cancelling first. Basically, Super Mario 64 Online and Net64, they have a feature where pressing a different direction on the D-pad will make your character perform a different animation. And you see, if you press D right, it forces your character to go to sleep. And D-pad cancelling is when you use D right to force your character to go to sleep to interrupt various other animations. It is important to note that only D right will work for this. So here's an example of how D-pad cancelling works. Normally if you try to open this door, the star cutscene will start playing, and you have to wait about an hour, maybe 2 hours for the door to actually open. But what you can do instead is press D right, and that completely interrupts the animation and allows you to open the door faster. This is far from the only use of D-pad cancelling, however, and there's probably a few more that we're yet to discover, but I'm going to go ahead and list out the ones I know about. So when going through a door that triggers a loading zone, normally your character will sit still for a second before you can move. However, if you hold D right as the screen fades out and release it before the game comes back, you can start moving a lot faster. Normally when ground pounding, you have this tumble animation you have to watch before you actually do the ground pound. However, holding D right allows you to immediately ground pound. As mentioned previously, you can interrupt the star animation for a star door to open the door faster, but it also works with Bowser doors, not just the other star doors. Normally when you enter the wing cap stage, this text box will appear. However, if you press D right before it appears, you interrupt it, and it will not interrupt your gameplay. Normally, when you touch lava in this game, your character will bounce around on the ground a bit before you can gain full control of them again. However, if you press D right before landing back on the ground, you get full control of your character immediately. Normally, when entering Big B's Horn, your character will do a little somersault before they actually enter the stage. However, if you hold D right, they will skip the somersault and just immediately jump in. So right now, you can see me there at the bottom of the screen holding the baby penguin. I've just paused the game to make this a bit easier for myself. If I start holding D right while I'm in the air before I land, what it's actually going to do is it's going to cancel my bounce. So I'll show you what happens if I don't press D right. You start bouncing like that. However, if I hold D right, that completely cancels my bounce. And what that's very useful for is I can follow it up with a D-pad cancel ground pound in front of the penguin, and then I can get to the star just a little bit quicker. Normally what happens is if I just bounce into the penguin and give her the baby, in Net64, due to the way objects interact with the character, you kind of get wedged in between the baby and the mother, and you lose time to that. So that is a slightly useful, but another use for D-pad cancelling. There could be some other uses for D-pad cancelling that I've simply forgotten to include in this, but those were just the ones that I could think of off the top of my head. It's also worth mentioning that some stuff will actually softlock. So for example, if I collect a star and then press D right, I don't exit the stage. So if you do want to experiment with D right and try to find some new uses for it, do be careful, don't experiment too much during an actual speedrun. Make sure to experiment outside of speedruns, because this stuff can happen. Now, by far the most useful application of D-pad cancelling is save prompt skip. The way you perform save prompt skip is, after you collect a star, press D right as you exit the painting, and that will successfully skip the save prompt. However, as you might be able to tell, that does create a small problem because I'm currently softlocked, And there's a couple of things you need to know about save prompt skip in order to utilize it to its full effectiveness. You see, the way save prompt skip works is it actually remembers the answer you chose last time. So right here, because this is the first star I'm collecting in the game since reboot, if I do save prompt skip, it doesn't have an answer to pull from, so the game will just soft lock. So for the first star, I have to select continue without saving. But now that I've selected continue without saving, if I press D right as I exit the painting, the game will skip the save prompt, and it will automatically continue without saving. This skip does save a lot of time in the grand scheme of things, and it also has the nice bonus of not having to fiddle with the menu after every star. However, there is one more really important thing we should know about save prompt skip, and that is, the save menu is not the only menu it will remember an answer from. So if you select continue without saving, the game will automatically continue without saving after every star, until we pause the game, and this will actually change what happens automatically. So when you pause, there are three options here. This third one doesn't affect anything, so we can just ignore it. The two important ones, though, are continue and to exit course. So if we pause the game and select continue, or if we just pause and unpause normally, next time we do save prompt skip, the game will automatically save and continue. That's not like a big problem or anything. However, the real problem is what happens if we select exit course. So just before I exited course, so what's going to happen now is, if I press D right as I'm jumping out of the painting before I land on the ground, the game is going to automatically save and quit. This means that every time you exit course, the next time you do save prompt skip, well, the next time you collect a star, you shouldn't do save prompt skip, and instead you have to manually reselect continue without saving in order to continue doing save prompt skip. This is quite annoying because there are a few times in a speedrun when you will want to exit course on purpose, such as when you want to do HMC late, or going upstairs, or leaving the Vanish Cap stage. There's quite a few times you're going to want to exit course. So you do have to remember to manually reselect continue without saving every time you exit course, otherwise the game is going to save and quit for you. So just to summarize save prompt skip real quick, remember that well, first of all, what I should have said was, it's easiest to do the skip if you spam the D-pad, D-right, because sometimes if you time it wrong, the skip might not actually work. But just remember that for the first star you collect in a speedrun, don't do save prompt skip, and every time you exit course, don't save prompt skip next. Those times you need to manually reselect continue without saving. However, for every other star in the game, it is perfectly fine to save prompt skip, and it will save a lot of time in your Net64 speedrun. And in case you were curious, so what will happen is if I pause the game and continue and do save prompt skip, the game will automatically save and continue, and this is still slower than continuing without saving because the game will pause for a very small amount of time before you can play again. Yeah, and that about sums up these two very important tricks, D-pad cancelling and save prompt skip. If you do decide to try out speedrunning Net64, whether it be a co-op run or using one of the custom characters like Waluigi or Knuckles, then I hope you found this video useful, and I hope you will give both D-pad cancelling and save prompt skip a go and utilize them in your speedruns. Well, that's all the time I've got. I've got to get back to playing Super Mario 64 online 70 stars Waluigi speedruns over at www.twitch.tv/club_ on my Nintendo 3DS.